today?
What's up, baby? Yeah, I'll just I'll throw a little bit in there with what Amanda's got going on the table, and just because I do have to jump in and jump out, and I got did talk to Tony yesterday, so I wanted to give you guys that as well. But I got a 4-hour tour of properties today. So, but no, just what Ashley was saying about really the coaching and the woo and all of that stuff, and I will tell you that there is a lot of woo. I mean, and I used to think even stuff just like writing affirmations, sticking sticky notes all over the mirrors, to me that was woo. I still did the activity though. And I did those things because they without them in front of you, um, it's hard to get from where you are in your comfort zone to pull you out of your comfort zone and to do something different to move you towards something different. Otherwise, you just go insane and keep doing the same thing, expecting something different or expecting it to just show. And I think it's so funny that we started the conversation last week um, with the old chip in the brain because I used to tell people, even as a coach, it's like, hey, I wish I could just download it all on a chip and plug it right in, and you had it like, the Matrix when she's uploading how to fly a military helicopter, right? And what I found is that in coaching, there's a couple things I want to point out here. In coaching, there is a journey. And if you don't partake in the creating of it, then you don't really have any ownership in it. And what I also found is even though I could give somebody the complete plan, they'll find a reason that it doesn't work because it's not their plan. And so the real trick here is if the woo's important, the coach needs to help somebody find the personal woo that and convince them to convince themselves that they figured it out and that they found their woo or they found their system and they actually have to create it. Now, what sucks about that is you still get thrown back in the damn 80-20 rule, right? And in fact, it's more like the 99-1 rule. 1% will really take it and create it and go and create things for themselves that are unbelievable. 18% of the people will do some of it. They'll get some of it in place and it'll be life changing. And without you, it wouldn't have happened, but they just bumped up the road a little bit. And then, of course, 80% don't do anything with it. They take some stabs and it doesn't go and they don't have the patience and they stay in their comfort zone. So the real trick, and the word coach is used so loosely, is understanding people. And even if you don't have a coach, it's understanding yourself and playing a little game to make you figure out something different and figure out a woo that'll pull you closer to wherever you're going. There were 2 points that I wanted to make about coaching. So the one is if you just give it to them, they're most likely going to fail. They got to feel like they've created it. If so, they have ownership in it. Yet behind that, I will say conversations with top coaches around the world, we can sit there and go, yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but they just want it done for them. And it's like, no, they don't, but they think they do. And so they don't take initiative, right? Um, Forgot what the second thing I was going to talk about coaching. But I will say along that line, just with it being, I'm assuming we're kind of talking about Motivational Monday a little bit. And I can tell you the most motivating thing to get you productive is get productive. Get freaking productive. Like, quit sitting around trying to throw darts at things that are going to be automatic and get out there and freaking pick up the phone and call people, write people notes, put people in your car and if you're a realtor, put people in your freaking car and just start driving around and showing them houses. I mean, you know how many people love to look at houses? If it's not about finding a buyer, it's not about finding a client when you're first getting out of your rut. It's about just doing the activity. So personal experience, I mean, last week I had 6 closings. This week I had 2 contracts written yesterday. One of them got accepted. I'm showing 4 hours today. And I got to be honest, just being productive and writing contracts seems to feed more contracts in my world as a real estate agent. And I'm just saying, like, if you're a podcaster, if you speak on stage and this is how you want, this is your big thing, then freaking go speak on as many stages as you can every single day, even if you have to do it for free. Because when you're doing it, it spurs more activity. And I think I heard Tony Robbins say this once in his early days. He would go speak at events 3 times a day. I don't know if it was 5 days a week or 7 days a week for years, like probably 2 or 3 years. I mean, I remember I look back on my speaking career and crap, it started 25 years ago when a little Remax office asked me to come do a thing called Breakfast of Champions. Look at this, Achievers Breakfast Club. Here we come, full circle, 25 years later, right? And it was so, to me in my world, it was so humbling, and it was an honor that somebody wanted me to share what I've been doing. I've got it sitting on my bookshelf right now. I might change my PTR before I leave the room. And it's a Wheaties box with me on it. And my wife had cut out a picture of me in my marketing material, which you will see that it was 25 years ago with my green suit and my black turtleneck underneath. It's pretty humorous. But she cut me out and put me on a Wheaties box. And that was sitting on the hotel breakfast sink that morning when I got up to go speak. And man, I'm telling you, I prepared, I did the thing with the visualization, and I pictured the room and the topics, and I tagged topics to them. And it's because I wanted to be a speaker. I was doing the training and stuff, but then I actually got to practice it. And then that just kept spurring. And I'm telling you, for probably 5-6 years, I spoke for free at every real estate event that I could think of. And today, I mean, it's going to be $2,500 to $5,000, and people are going to want to pay that for me to come speak. So, and now that's 25 years later. And so I'll throw one more in there. Dave Ramsey's the same exact way. Dave Ramsey, if you're familiar with him, financial guru, he was an overnight 20-year success, a 20-year overnight success, I should say. They would pound the freaking streets, or he started just calling radio stations. What do I need to do to get you to play my show on your radio station? And it started with one here. It might have been 6 months before he got another one to even listen to him, and then another one. And then all of a sudden, he's just pounding the street for probably 20 years. And I think it was 10 or 15 years in, he had a couple people join him on his mission because he'd been working on this, and they followed him for, 5-10 years. And then they're helping him build it. And there was a point where, where he went big were 2 things. One was he said, we have got to do something different for these radio stations. I want you guys to go out there, walk into the radio station, find the station manager, find out who they are. Do they have kids? What do they like to do? I want you to build relationships with these radio stations. Second thing that happened, so as he gets that done, and they're just keeping in touch with people through relationships, they're getting played on more and more radio stations now because people like him. And they listen to it, they're like, I really like this guy, and man, his content is awesome. And then that leads to Oprah catching it, and it's overnight. It's 20 years of grindstone. He shows up on Oprah, holds up a book, and it's the rest is history. Now he's got millions and millions of followers, getting debt free, all that stuff. So it is just, if I were to say anything today, get into freaking productivity, even if you have to do it for free. Now, here's my little disclaimer as a coach. When I say, if you're going on to a real estate agent, I would say something like, and whatever your product or service is, this is you as well. But I would say, what do you make money on? Listings, right? Right. Okay, so how many listing appointments should you take a week? Or how many listing appointments should you go on a week? Let me ask you, Ed, what's like the minimum listing appointments an agent should probably go on in a week? Appointments, not take listings.
I would like to have one every day.
Every day, 5. 5 listing appointments a week. Great. How many did you do yesterday? None. How many you got today? None. No, you go list houses for free. In fact, you call anybody on the phone today and you say, hey, it's your lucky day. I did a drawing. Your name came up. I'm listing your house for free. And people think I'm crazy when I say this, but if you list 5 houses for free, you're going to be out of business really quick, but you're also going to figure out how to not do 5 houses for free because you got to make money. But until you get 5 houses in 1 week, you're never going to do 5 houses in 1 week. So the best money you could possibly spend is take your next 5 listings for free, but you have 1 week to get them done. Right. So anyway, it's just about getting into productivity. And I've experienced that where I felt like I was in productivity for the last year and a half and in the changing market. And actually just even the first 7 months of this year, 6 months of this year. And I get plugged into a system where there's activity happening and they're growing fast. And I added something different and it got me into productivity. And that has spun me back into my normal business along with the added business. So anyway, I know I just probably dumped a load on you there too. So I'm going to give you that for today and let the rest of the stage